Greetings everyone, Jordan the Crafter here. I'm going to show you today how to make what I call a Kazumpet, a combination of a kazoo and a trumpet. This idea first came to me by way of a gentleman named Frank Helms, who originally put out a video on YouTube showing how to do this, where you basically cover the large end that you normally hum into, like in this graphic you see here. And in my case, I did things a little differently. I actually poked a little series of holes. You can see the pattern there at the bottom of the graphic to show that you need to let a little bit of air through there. And then you actually hum into the small end that you normally wouldn't do. So, what you also do with this is that you essentially hum in a falsetto mode to make this work. So once you cover that end of the kazoo, the large end, and once you start humming into the tall end, I should say the tall and small end there, you need to go into a falsetto, like a Mickey Mouse voice, like that, when you do your humming, in order to get those tones that are going to come out. And what's going to come out is going to make a very, very in this case, I remember Frank used to say it sounded like a tenor sax, or maybe in his case a harmonica. I could never get it to do the harmonica sound myself, but what I noticed when I did it with this little plastic kazoo here I got at Party City is that it sounds very much like a trumpet. And so basically you have you hold it essentially so that you basically have it between thumb and forefinger. And I will actually show a couple of videos after this portion here showing not only how to hold it, but also a few little examples of me playing it. And essentially you kind of use your last three fingers of your hand, of your dominant hand, to kind of act as a mute like you would on a trumpet over the white section there that you see, which is where the sound comes out, where the membrane is, as it is in a kazoo. So, with that, essentially that's all there is to it. As you see here, you cover the end. I used gaffer's tape, black gaffer's tape, like you'd use in a television studio. You could probably also use electrical tape, or even, the usual MacGyver duct tape to do the same thing. But do that little hole pattern. I used like a little push pin to poke those holes in the end, and that will make it work just perfectly. Once you start humming into it with a falsetto tone and muting with those last three fingers, as I say, you'll be amazed at the trumpet-like sound you can do. So if you can carry a tune and do it in a falsetto mode, you can have an instrument that sounds a lot like a trumpet, and you can basically jam with almost anything that a trumpet would go with. So let's look at a little bit more about how to hold it and show you how to play it. Here's another quick tutorial on how to hold the Frank Helms style prepared kazoo, at least the way I hold it anyway, where I use my index finger to curl over right behind the neck there where the membrane is. My thumb curves over that finger to hold it in place, and the last three fingers, mostly the middle one, end up being kind of like the muter like you'd have on a trumpet, like this. So when I play it, something like this, like that. You just use these last three fingers as sort of a flapper valve, if you will, to kind of mute and sort of shape the sound, really, is what you're doing as you play and as you hum into the small end instead of the big one that's just covered with tape. Hope that helps anyone. If you had any questions on that, talk to you later. Greetings everyone, Jordan here. I thought I'd try my own experiment with a Frank Helms modified kazoo. Thank you, Frank, for this idea, and make a few sounds for you. Thanks, Greg.